Welcome to 800 Pound Gorilla's Album of the Week podcast. This is Paige, and this week we are highlighting Rachel Fairburn's new release, Showgirl. Rachel Fairburn is a renowned British comedian, and Showgirl shows us exactly why she deserves all of the high praise she receives. Showgirl is a witty, glamorous, and relatable album that will definitely leave you laughing.
Rolling Stone called me the rock and roll star of British comedy, and I've been sat backstage going, I'm fucking nervous, I don't know, I can't eat, yeah, go on, get us some chips, I can't eat. Genuinely, thank you so much, each and every one of you, for being here. Give me a cheer if you've seen me before. You sound happy, I like that. Give me a cheer if you've not. They sound happier. Cheer if you've just come here because you got a free ticket. Oh, yeah, that was... Are you a singer?
Was, once upon a time.
We ain't got time for that. Just say yeah. Welcome to your audience with. Come on stage and tell us what happened. Thank you so much for coming. So this is the last time I'm going to do my show, Showgirl. No, I'm fine with it. 2 fucking years of it. But it's a great show, which is why I wanted to film it in Blackpool, because to me, Blackpool is one of the best places on earth. Does anyone agree with me? Someone going out the door there, going absolutely fucking nuts. I got the train here an hour ago and I'm leaving right now. I'm leaving. And honestly, I know it sounds really cheesy, but an absolute dream for me to be able to film my show in Blackpool, in here, because it's amazing, is it not? Give it a round of applause to the venue, because everyone's dead nice. But the point is, we'll get to that at the end, but we'll just get on with the show now. So Showgirl, in the show, I'm trying to answer a question, right, that I get asked all the time. And the question is not, why are you wearing Liberace's pyjamas? The question is, how did you get into comedy, right? And of course, the tone of the question depends on who's asking, right? So sometimes, because you do this for a job, because you can speak in public, people think that your opinion matters. Right, and it doesn't. Comedians go on question time now. I've got a question for you. What the fuck are you doing on there? Right? This is true. I got asked not so long ago, would Rachel like to come on Channel 4 and talk about the experiences of refugees in the UK? I only moved from Manchester to London. I mean, next week, are they going to have some bloke from Afghanistan on talking about what it's like being a woman in comedy? Because, you talk, but people, because you talk for a living, they ask you to go on things. Sometimes you get asked to go on local radio, right? That's the exciting one. When they've exhausted the parade of nutters that phone in, right? Who's still phoning into the radio? I think if you phone the radio, you need to be sectioned. No sort of, you're not going to be analysed, you're not going to be given medication, sectioned. That's what I think, right? But they ask you to go on, and, they'll sort of introduce you. You'll get to go on the breakfast show, if you're lucky, because that's the one that most people listen to. And you'll be introduced a bit like this. They'll go, that was wet, wet, wet with Love Is All Around. And now for something a little more dry, dry, dry. It's the humour of comedienne Rachel Fairburn. Another time that you're waiting to be introduced, just this noise in the background like this. You're like, what is that? Is that an orgasm in pug? And it's not. It's the breakfast show co-host, right? Who's often a woman whose entire existence is just to laugh at whatever the male host says. You know, a little bit like that thing in Star Wars that sits near Jabba the Hutt. And they'll get round to asking you the question, they'll have to ask you. They'll go, so Rachel, tell us, how did you get into comedy? And they're about as interested in hearing my answer as I'm as interested in hearing about your air fryer. Yeah, and when I say you know exactly who you are, right? Who in here has got an air fryer? Scum. You people are scum, right? This, I swear to God, if you've got an air fryer, this is a rare occasion out for you. It is. And you sit at home and you like to sit there and you think, oh, my mates are getting dead boring, they never go out anymore. They're out without you. Because you make everyone uncomfortable. Because you sit there and you talk about your little miniature oven like you're fucking it. There's an air fryer magazine now. But you knew that if you've got an air fryer, you've got one. You've got one hidden at home in the toilet cistern, haven't you? And when everyone goes out to work, you take it out and you rub away to it like a smackhead with a scratch card. I've seen you people in action, right? You go out, everyone will be having a nice time, but you just want to talk about the air fryer. Someone's having a normal conversation. Oh, the kids are back to school in September. Oh, yeah, one day there'll be adults with air fryers of their own. Yeah. You know, someone's been dumped, you know, having a hard time. Yeah, well, you know, when I got divorced, I thought I'd never find love again. And I was right, you know, but at least I've got my air fryer. You know, 10 pints in, when everyone's talking about conspiracy theories, they can't even let it up then. They're like, oh, yeah, well, I know what they say, you know, 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, the thing is, my air fryer is good, but it can't melt steel beams. You people are going to hell. That's right. Murderers, sex offenders, air fryer owners. That's where you're going. But you'd like that, wouldn't you? Because it's hot down there. Ooh, it'd be like being in a big air fryer, wouldn't it? Oh, think about all the new recipes you could try. Oh, you could fry dog cum. And you could top it with Jeffrey Epstein's toenail clippings. And you could make it into biscuits and you could serve it to the devil and Jimmy Savile. Like the weird little creeps that you are. Thank you for coming.
Need to satisfy your comedy craving? Head to 800pgm.com and check out hundreds of comedy albums and video specials. And don't forget to subscribe to 800 Pound Gorilla's YouTube channel for new content every week.
I get asked the question, how did you get into comedy in this tone? This tone, I like this one. How did you get into comedy, in inverted commas? And that is asked by men on the internet. Because some men, some of you, not all of you, I mean enough of you that we've got the saying, not all of you. Some men don't like women doing stuff, you know, being creative, being successful, living, breathing. It's not really their jam. You know, it's not for them. They don't like it. You know, this is why I think some men, the only relationship they can have is with a sex doll. You know, these sex robots, right? This is why I think some men have sex robots, because it's all the holes and no hassle, isn't it? That's what that is, you know. Well, it is, isn't it? You know, women, we have no time for stuff like that. No woman in history is ever going to buy a male sex robot. It's not going to happen. Why would I want one of those? It breaks down. Brilliant. Another man I've got to fix. But the question, of course, how did you get into comedy? Asked by men on the internet. And sometimes they employ brevity to ask me, how did you get into comedy? And they just write, bitch cunt, under a video of me. Which is shocking, right? It is shocking, because I was shocked, because I thought that would have been hyphenated. But it's not, you know? Every day is a school day, isn't it? Unless you're a man on the internet, you're probably not allowed near schools. Now, of course, you can't do this as a job and not expect any negative feedback, and I do try and take it on board. I want to hear what these men have got to say, you know. How would I know I was bad at my job if Dave, 69, from Swindon, didn't tell me, you know? I want to hear what this man's got to say. He seems to know all the words to Sweet Caroline, you know? The man's a feminist. He's got 100 public likes of big tits. There's a picture of him with his granddaughter to let me know he's not a danger. You know, I want to hear what he's got to say. I did actually used to think before I did this job that the loudest noise ever recorded was Krakatoa erupting. But it's actually the sound of an unqualified man in a room full of expert women. Just one man laughing for all of the men. It's all right, lads. Yeah, it's all right. Shh. I get asked the question, how did I get into comedy? I get asked by middle-class people, because I'm a working-class person. Any other working-class people in? Oh, more than usual, because we're in Blackpool. Lovely. And very proud to be working class. And I have friends from different backgrounds, which, I'm very happy about. You know, I've got a lot of middle-class friends now. I've got working-class friends. My middle-class friends know that I'm working class, by the way, because they refer to me as salt of the earth. And we know what that means, don't we? It means, oh, you're quite articulate and intelligent for a deprived person, but don't you even dare fuck my brother. That's what that means. That's what that means. You know, and of course, my favourite friends, I have to say, my favourite group of friends are my working class friends because I've known them the longest. You know, it's a group of women that I've known since I was around 3 years old. We meet up twice a year, we go for a Toby Carvery on a Sunday, and we wake up on Wednesday in Ibiza. And that works for me. It's perfect. That's all I need. There's differences between the friendship groups. I mean, if you're middle class, how you shop is different. If you are a middle class person, you definitely shop at a place called Oliver Bonas. Are we familiar with Oliver Bonas? I don't think it's hit Blackpool yet. But let me tell you what Oliver Bonas is. I'll describe it to you. It's a shop. It's tat for cunts. That's what it is. You're nodding. That's what it is. It's landfill for posh people. That's what it is, right? How you shop denotes your class. I mean, I think if you're middle class, you're more likely to get your groceries delivered. My middle class friends are like, oh my God, it's so easy. You're looking at each other. Who does it? Oh, you think you're better than us, do you? Yeah, okay. Shame on you. Well, middle-class people are always like, oh my God, it's so easy. You just press the button, it just appears at the door with a man in a van. And sometimes I give him £10, you know, so you can pop it in my cupboards because I can't because of my... I'm like, oh, why? Because of your back. No, my sense of entitlement. Working class people, not you, working class people, we go to the shops. We get our shopping on foot and by hand. And these are my earliest memories. My earliest memories are doing an entire week shop on foot and by hand, whatever the weather, pissing down rain, blazing sun, walking to Asda and back, carrying everything, right? And if you've got a mum like mine, you can't ever ask for any respite. You cannot ask, Mum, do you mind if we just get a taxi with all this shopping? Get a taxi. Do you think I made her money? Well, can we get a bus and just get a few stops? Because I'm 4 years old and it's cutting into my hands, Mum. Like, I'm bleeding here. Really? Do you think I'm getting on a bus with all this shopping, having people know I've no money for a taxi? Fucking move. Look, I don't think a trip to Asda should evoke the words of World War I poet Wilfred Owen. Do you remember that one? Bent double, like old beggars, under sacks. Not need, coughing like hags. Don't cough either. Your mum's like, what are you coughing for there? Have you not got your inhaler? Because we don't get back in 6 minutes and that Viennetta melts. I will fucking batter you. Look, I am not being dramatic. But there are donkeys in sanctuaries that have had easier lives than me, okay? I'll say this as well, right? I'm terrible with money. I've never got any money. I don't know what to spend it on. I've just never got any money. Right, and I think what it is, it's ancestral with me, with money, right? I think my ancestors would have been like, we've been paid by Mr. Goodfellow from the mill. But we might die of cholera under a spinning jenny in the morning. So let's try and have a laugh now, shall we? Honestly, you give me money, I'll piss it up the wall. I've never got any. I think middle-class people, you're a lot more careful with your money, and by that I mean tight. I don't know if you've ever been on holiday with middle-class people. Do you want to put your hand in your pocket at some point, right? These people never pay for anything. And it starts before the holiday, because what they do is, wherever you're going, you're like, all right, we'll look for accommodation. No, don't look for accommodation. I used to go to university with somebody who knew somebody who lived there. I'll get in touch with them, right? And you're nodding. This is what it's like. So, you know what? If you live in a city that people want to visit, I mean, the people of Preston can't understand this bit. If you live in a city that people want to visit, right, and you have a spare room, brick it up. Brick it up. Don't let these people know that it is there because they want to use you like a free Airbnb, right? And the worst is, I hate people staying at my house. I hate it, right? Does anyone else hate it? Yeah, I hate it, right? And the worst is, I can never say no. If someone asks to stay at my house, I can't say no. Why? Because I'm salt of the earth. I hate it, right? The reason I hate it, a number of reasons, mainly is because I've got OCD. I have obsessive compulsive disorder. We're very familiar with OCD now, and basically what it is, it's where you like things a particular way, right? You like to routine, pattern in your life, you do things a certain way because you think if you do that, you're in control and nothing bad's going to happen. That's what it's like. It's a psychological disorder. I'm ever so brave. Now, I have OCD officially and not fashionably as well, just so you know that. I have an actual diagnosis from a doctor and not off TikTok, okay? And the worst is when people come to your house, right, and they stay at your house, things change, you know, it's different. Suddenly, you're sitting in a different chair. You're sitting in a chair that you never sit in. You're looking at your life from a different angle. You're like, is this the director's cut of my existence? Because I don't think I like it, right? Then they start making new rules, you know, as if it's exact. They go, oh, should we go out for breakfast? No, I live here. My food is in the cupboard. I've got OCD. I've got to eat cornflakes at 7 a.m. every day for the rest of my life or my family dies. Listen, right, people, you're disgusting. You are. All ears, right? Listen, no offence, but you are. You have bits that fall off and out of you. You're sitting here thinking, oh, I'm dead clean, me. You're not. There's skin falling off you. Hair, nails, farts out the back, unwanted opinions out the front. Right? You're disgusting, right? The rules, these are the rules. If you want to stay at my house, first of all, you've got to shave off all your body hair. Hey, and I mean all of it. I want that gooch bald. Okay? I bet that's the first and last time that he's ever said in this venue. If you don't know what that means, don't Google it. Don't, right? And if you want to use the toilet, there is a pub down the road. You are not using my toilet. It's not happening. It's not happening. And this comes from experience, right? From experience. And why? Let me tell you. 2 of my friends came to stay at my house, right? And they stayed for 3 days. But it's never 3 days, is it? It's not. It's 3 days and a bit, because they never go, do they? The 4th day, they're still there. An extra day, right? They're still there. Go, please. I want my life back, right? 3 days. The first day, you go into it with a bit of optimism. You're thinking, do you know what? This might be fun. The second day, you're ordering a book off Amazon called The Power of Saying No. The third day, you're like, well, do you know what? I think I better put them on the council tax because I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't want to get in any trouble, right? And then the 4th day, they're leaving. Now, these 2 friends of mine, on the 4th morning, that wasn't agreed, right? The late checkout that wasn't requested, right? One of them, and I think I know which one, blocked my toilet. Yeah? You're shaking your head, you're appalled. They didn't say anything, right? Now, they knew that they'd done that. They knew that there was no way that they could... Do you know what it feels like, right, as a proud person, to have to ring a plumber, and that plumber come to your house, your safe environment, and that plumber say to you, yeah, the thing is, darling, someone's just had a massive shit in your toilet, and for him to think that that's you, right? Because you're the only person there at that point, or because they've scarpered by then, don't worry about that, right? And he thinks you're weird anyway because there's taxidermy in the house, which is a different story for a different time, right? Now my friend, right, knew that they'd done that. They knew that they couldn't have not known, and they didn't even have the decency. They didn't even have the decency to take their own life. Harsh? I don't think so. I think that would have been a real apology. That's what that would have been. Something for me, you know? A bit of shame and a bit of dignity shown. That's what that would have... I mean, of course I don't want that to happen. I don't want anyone to take their own life. I don't want that to happen, you know? But my middle-class friends, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that because they're very vocally depressed. Very vocal depressed. That's the good depressed, isn't it? Vocal, you know? I miss brooding depressed. I think that ended in the mid-noughties. Do you know, you'd go into a pub and you'd see a bloke with a pint and he'd be staring at you and you'd think, look at him, I bet he likes the Smiths. You know, or you'd see a woman and she's got a glass of wine and she looks really sad and you think, I wonder what she's thinking about. Poetry and lesbian experiences, you know. And then you find out they've jumped off a bridge. I mean, a different time. I don't want that time back. It was just a more peaceful time. Now, we are talking now. And listen, I've just spoke about OCD, so that's absolutely fine. You know, I've mentioned OCD. The thing is, though, my middle-class friends just never shut up. The middle-class friends, they never shut up about it. One of my friends said to me the other day, she went, I just feel that I've got nothing to get up for in the morning. I was like, why are you crying? I'd love to feel like that. Oh. I love to open my eyes and go, nobody in the world needs me. I'm technically useless. Whatever happens today can and will happen without me. Please stop crying. This is great news. Take the razor off your wrist. We're going to Blackpool. class people ask me the question, how did you get into comedy? They ask me like this. They go, hi, how did you get into comedy? Because, well, we thought we locked the door after Kevin Bridges and Mickey Flanagan got in, to be quite frank with you. But you're here now, and we do appreciate you. But please don't say cunt. We only like it when Phoebe Waller-Bridge says it. I'd love to bring Phoebe Waller-Bridge to Blackpool. Oh, can you imagine? I'd fucking love that. Do you know what? Pitch that to the BBC, somebody. Let's have that. That'd be great, a BBC holidays with scumbags. Rachel Fairburn takes Phoebe Waller-Bridge to Blackpool. King Charles goes to Benidorm. Write that down. We're on to summit. Anyway, the point is, I know how I got into comedy, right? But I don't know how I got into comedy, which sounds stupid and profound. And I suppose it's a fair question when you do this for a job. People want to know how you got into it and, you know, all the rest of it. Now, I know what I did to become a comedian. I did a comedy course, right? Which, again, sounds insane. I did a comedy course, which was funded by the government. It was funded by the Labour Party as part of their New Deal for communities. This is Gordon Brown's fault. Now, this comedy course was advertised in my local paper in North Manchester. It was a tiny little advert, and I saw it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to ring that up, and I might go on that, right? Now, there was uproar about this course. It made the national news. People were furious. Now, people were saying things like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Why would they waste money on such a thing? Why don't they give these people a course on sort of, I don't know, contraception to stop them breeding or something? You know, why don't they give them a course on chip foraging? I think it might be more useful for them. I mean, I do think the government should do a course on contraception and Boris Johnson should be forced to attend it. Oh, who's raw dogging with him? Doesn't bear thinking about, does it? But this is the point. The point of this course, it was for a deprived area in North Manchester, right? And it was for the people that lived there to give them something creative to do. Now, this is the problem. People do not associate creativity with the working classes, right? Despite the fact they don't. Despite the fact that working class people are giving the world some of the best music, some of the best literature, some of the best fashion. You know, we could go on. You're welcome, is what I'm saying, right? They don't like the idea of us doing something creative, right? Now, the course wasn't for people to necessarily become comedians. It was there to be creative for people. It was there to teach people how to take inspiration from the world around them, how to think about things differently, how to work towards a live performance, you know? What it gave everybody on that course, though, every single person that went on it, it gave them confidence, right? That was the one thing everybody came away with, right? And that is what I needed, because for the entirety of my life, even up until now, I have been incredibly shy. Now, I don't mean like charming shy. You know, like, like Princess Diana shy. Oh, take my picture. No, don't take my picture. Me marry a prince for attention? Never. You know? I wasn't that shy. As a kid, I was more or less mute. I didn't speak to anybody apart from my immediate family. I think I was the only child in history that was actually encouraged to talk to strangers. My parents would be like, right, Rachel, if a man in a van approaches you and he says he's got puppies in the back, don't get in the van. But ask him how his day's been, you know. Enquire about the breed of dog. Please speak to somebody outside of this house because you're giving everyone the fucking creeps. Now, I was never mistaken for being rude or aloof, which a lot of shy people can unfairly be mistaken for, right? Because I used to blush. I used to go red. Now, the worst thing is, if you are a blusher, people mention it. It's the you've gone red. Yeah, I fucking know. I know. I'm me. I know. You're you. You can see. It's actually bad manners to bring it up, actually. You know, I would never say to somebody, fucking hell, your kids are ugly. Because you know, I'm me, I can see. We don't need to address it, bring it out into the open, do we? We don't need to. Now, the thing is, I do still blush now, and it's usually in sort of general conversation. But now, with hindsight, I don't know if I'm blushing because I'm still a bit socially awkward and a bit sort of insular, or if I'm embarrassed for what the person who's talking to me is telling me. Because people tell you too much. I mean, says me, stood here. But they do. They do. And I'm talking about sexual conversation, right? Now, I'm not a prude, but I don't want to hear it. Now, I got introduced to somebody not so long ago. A friend of a friend, a woman. I spoke to her for about 2 minutes, and then she sort of just said to me that she was polyamorous. I'm like, great, well, you do you and everyone else by the sounds of it, but I am not interested, right? Not interested. And then, sometimes when people tell you something like that, they sort of react, if you react in a way that isn't fascinated by their incredibly interesting lives, they sort of accuse you of kink shaming. Don't shame my... Well, don't tell me about it, and I won't think you're a fucking weirdo then. You've got the right to tell me about stuff, but I've got the right to think you're a freak. Another person I got introduced to, again, a woman. I hate it when it's a woman. Stop letting us down, you know. Friend of a friend. Again, a few minutes into conversation, she sort of just went like this. I thought, oh, we've got a vocal one. Here we go. I said, you all right? She went, oh, I've just been having a really hard time recently. I thought, here we go. I said, all right. She said, I'm trying to live a bit more sustainably. She said, I'm trying to find some eco-friendly sex toys. And I said, I beg your pardon, which of course we know is polite for you fucking what? And then I thought to myself, eco-friendly sex toys? Surely. Surely. Right? And then she said to me, but don't worry, I wasn't. Don't worry, I've actually managed to find somewhere that makes zero-waste dildos. I thought, yeah, Sainsbury's, that's a baguette. What about me? What about my... You know, what if my kink is turtles choking, eh? Who's thinking about me? Eco-friendly sex toys. No one's thinking about me in these scenarios, are they? It's terrible. And, do you know, I actually think I need a safe word from people's sexual conversations. I do. Do you know, like, people who have very vibrant sex lives have a safe word to stop play. I mean, I don't know why I'm using a sporting analogy. I don't know what goes on there. But they do. I would have thought a good word to use would be no. Or hey, get out of it. That kind of thing. Surely that would do the job. But they have like all these banana. I mean, banana's probably the worst one you could use, I would say. It's the last thing you want bringing into the bedroom. Now, I just think, like, I do actually have a safe word in my sexual life. I don't do anything kinky. I just find it quite time-consuming, you know. He's there humping away. And I'm thinking, I've got a full Kindle on the bedside table there. So I just whisper the safe word. I just whisper, Captain Tom. Hey, don't stop him. Speeds him up. Yeah? Hey, listen, don't sit there feeling sad because I've mentioned Captain Tom. This is what Captain Tom would have wanted. This is what he wanted. He wanted this, everyone out enjoying themselves. He wanted this and not a spa facility in his horrible daughter's garden. God bless you, Captain Tom. He's up there now, fucking the Queen. And he is. He is, whether you like it or not, that's what's happening. Don't be upset by that. But the Queen, listen, it's till death do us part. She's not up there with Prince Philip. Till death do us part. That's it, you know. It's like when an elderly couple, you know, one of them passes away, the other one passes away. They're reunited now in heaven. No, they're not. They can do what they want up there. It's till death do us part. I hope my grandma is up there sucking off Elvis. Don't worry. I imagine your grandma when I do that bit, so it's all right. Anyway, the point is I used to be very shy. And I still am. I am. It's just that nobody ever believes me now. I still am shy. And the thing is, I don't know why I was ever shy, because it's not like I'm from a reserved, sort of shy, quiet family. You know, my family are reasonably sort of outgoing people. You know, they're very creative. They're interested. They're avid readers of many genres. That's right, my lot read for pleasure and not just to work out the cooking instructions on some Iceland chicken nuggets, you know. And I was encouraged, to be a bit more outgoing. Spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up. Loved my grandparents very, very much. But I think this is where my sort of fear of... I think this is where my OCD comes from. This is where I think my OCD comes from. Because when we were growing up, I spent so much time with grandparents. We used to have, we had so many pets at one point. So many pets. There was cats, there was dogs, there was hamsters, there was rabbits. And because we had so many pets, they were always dying. So at a very young age, I was very much aware of death. And I was like, all right, well, if the rabbit's dead, and the hamster's dead, and the cat's dead, well, I think my grandparents are going to die. And I'm not being funny or anything. I'm not saying I'm psychic, but they did. So, don't waste your money on Petrolengro on the pier over there. £10 in the foyer, cash only, I'll do your fortune, right? The other thing is as well, as you are encouraged, if you've had a similar background to me, you will be familiar with 3 little words that you got told when you were growing up. Stop showing off. And that applied from everything to eating to breathing and living to dying. Mum, I'm back from school. Keep your voice down, stop showing off. Mum, what are we doing at the weekend? Weekend? Some kids in other countries don't have weekends. Lying there in a coma. Oh, not speaking to us, are ya? Think you're too good for us, do ya? All these machines beeping round here, making noise, stop showing off. But that's it, you're constantly worried, because, you're constantly worried, am I showing off, am I not? And the thing is as well, as shy as I was very shy at school, but quite rebellious at home, right? I was quite a naughty child. I think it's because I had all this pent-up energy, because I was so quiet all day and so nervous and on edge. And I was disciplined because I was a naughty kid, and I'm glad of that, My mum used to discipline me by saying things like, if you carry on like that, you're going to boarding school. That's an aspirational threat, isn't it? Boarding school, you say? Ooh, great. I could do with the education and the contacts, actually. I imagine on the flip side, there's a privileged child who was threatened with the same, Giles, if you don't behave yourself and use the correct cutlery at dinner this evening, you're going to state school. No, Mummy, I don't want to go to state school. Mummy, there's children there with double-barrelled names, and it's because their parents aren't married, Mummy, not because they're aristocrats, Mummy. Please don't send me... No, I don't want to go to state school, Mummy. Mummy, please, I want to pretend that I went to state school when I'm older and I work in the arts, but please... Please don't send me now. My grandma would discipline me as well. Great way of disciplining me, my grandma. She used to say, if you carry on like that, I'm going to record you on that cassette player, really dates it, that done it, and I'm going to send that into school on Monday morning, and I'm going to get Mr. Callahan, the headmaster, to play it to all the other children so they can hear what a horrible little girl you really are. Hey, if my grandma were alive today, she would have loved the idea of revenge porn. She's up there now, sucking off Elvis. I did have these little bouts of confidence as a kid. But I did what a lot of us do, and a lot of us probably have had similar backgrounds in here. I can see the worry lines. And so if you do that thing where you say, be in the living room, or the existing room, as we called it in our house, be there at 4 o'clock, there's a show on. Did we ever do that? You do a little performance and you used to write little comedy sketches and things and entertain my family with them. But I was so shy, I used to do it from behind the sofa with dolls and toys as the actors in the thing. I was very method, actually. My favourite thing to do, I used to get a doll and I used to have it behind the sofa and I'd go, hello, I'm Margaret Thatcher. Very topical at the time, very topical. And, I was method. I was, because what I did before the performance was I deprived myself of milk. And then when I was 9, I closed down a mine. Which my Welsh father was furious about. But, and I love doing things like that, which is why I think when I got to secondary school, I did think that I was really being held back by the fact that I was so shy. And I thought, what I'm going to do what the confident kids do, right? And they're not necessarily the confident kids, are they? They're just the kids whose parents don't love them enough to not say, stop showing off. That's what they are. That's what those kids are. Their parents don't love them. They didn't give them self-awareness. That's what those parents are. That's what those kids are, right? Now, I thought, well, if the confident children do drama, so I'm going to do drama, right? Terrible idea. Hated it. Twice a week, for the entirety of my school life, nervous. So nervous. We only did one play. And what play did we do? The Royal Hunt of the Sun by Peter Shaffer. Has anybody heard of this play? No. Let me explain what this play is. It's about the Spanish conquistadors going to South America to convert the Incas to Christianity whilst also stealing their gold in the process. Why can't we just do Bugsy Malone like everyone else? Huh? I mean, bear in mind, this was just a Catholic school. In Manchester, right? The characters in this play. There is Francisco Pizarro, a conquistador, a Spaniard. A Spaniard always sounds wrong every time I say it. There's nothing wrong with Spaniard, it's fine. But every time I say it, I feel like, because you go on holiday to Spain, you're like, oh, the Spanish scenery, the Spanish wine, you get the bill, these fucking Spaniards. Do you see what I mean? It sounds wrong, but it's perfectly fine, right? Another character, Atahualpa, an Inca chief, an Inca god, right? I played a character called Chalcachima, who was one of Atahualpa's mates, right? Now, what I do have to say at this point is something that I've had to come to terms with, really. Because you know when people say people from Manchester walk like that? We do. And I'm sorry, we do. And I have to say, I realise that I do that walk when I think I've made a good point, right? So, someone will say to me, oh, everyone from Manchester does this. And I'll go, do you know, I think you're actually very offensive, stereotypical and downright rude. Can't help it. But listen, we all walk like that. Liam Gallagher has had a double lip replacement from doing this for 52 years. Ian Brown must be shitting himself. He certainly walks like he is. The point is, I mention this, is because my enduring memories of this play are all the kids being like this, walking round. You know, like the lad who played Francisco Pizarro, right? This was one of the lines, right? I am Francisco Pizarro. I am a bastard and a soldier of Spain. Now, the drama teacher said, Danny, are you comfortable saying bastard? Why, sir, do you want me to say cunt instead? I'm playing Chalcachima. I have one line in this entire play. And the one line was, Cajamarca, behind the great mountains, he orders you to visit him, right? That was the one line. So nervous for it, so nervous. We did 2 performances. The first performance, right? Of course, when you do a school play, everyone from your class is there. Your parents have come to it. Your auntie, your uncle have come to watch. There's kids from other school there to take the piss, right? The school hall is full, right? So it's a sellout, right? And I'm waiting to one line. I've been so nervous, right? I'm stood backstage in the girls' toilets. I just remember being so nervous. I was like, oh. And I remember my cue came, and I walked out. And I went, Cajamarca. And from the audience, my mum stood up and went, oh, stop showing up! The thing is, right, I did learn from that. I kind of enjoyed being a bit nervous. But I realised it's not nerves, it's excitement in a way. That feeling, sort of being nervous, it's tension and release. That's what it is. So it's no surprise that my favourite things growing up and throughout life have been horror and comedy. Horror and comedy, it's the same feeling. It's tension and release. Horror, oh, God, oh, we're going to get away from the monster. Oh, thank God. You know, comedy, oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, thank God I'm not gigging with Russell Brand. You know? Let's not forget that's the thing. So like, you know, so it's no surprise enjoying that being tension and release, enjoying that as a feeling. It's no surprise my favourite show growing up was Crime Watch UK. Oh, what a show. Any other Crime Watch fans in? Oh, PC Jackie Hames, yes please. Loved it. And it's tension and release. The tension of the you know, recently committed crimes reenacted before your very eyes, and the release of the hilarious photo fits. What a show. What a show. It's all on YouTube. Why are you here? Now, I think that was my gateway into true crime, right? It's the truest crime you can get, Crime Watch UK. The crimes happened last week. They're being reenacted. Any true crime fans in? Woo! Mainly the women. The men are out keeping it going. I'm not getting at blokes. I'm not. But come on. Most true crime documentaries should just be called He Seemed Fine at First. Why does registered sex offender sound more trustworthy? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you need to get your boiler fixed, people go, make sure you get a corgi registered one. Like, registered sex offender sounds more sounds more official. You know, like if you saw Hugh Edwards in the street, Yeah, and you went, Hugh, you're a nonce. He could go, well, actually, I think you'll find him a registered sex offender. Sorry. Obsessed with these. I think the way we engage with true crime is a real problem, says the woman with a popular podcast. I think there is, because this is from my point of view. The other day, I made a sandwich, cheese and pickle, thanks for asking. And I thought to myself, in the time it takes me to eat this sandwich, I must be entertained. You know, like I'm some Roman emperor or something. I must be entertained. So I thought, what I'll do, I'll watch something. So I didn't even get my iPad. You know, didn't put the TV on. And I do have a TV. I'm not one of those arseholes. You know, I hate. Do you know what? If you've not got a TV, I hate you. You think you're so much better than everyone. Oh, we don't have a TV. We have a space where the TV used to be, and we sit there and we think about our privilege. It's only yourself you're harming, right? So I don't have a TV, but I didn't even give this thing the sort of dignity of the iPad, the respect of the iPad. I got my phone, my mobile phone. Think about how horrible your phone is, all the horrible things you've said down it, the horrible things you've searched on it, all the makeup shoved in the ear, all the screenshots you've taken of people you're meant to like, you know? And I just got it out, open YouTube on it, and I just wrote into the YouTube search bar, family annihilation, go. Got myself a documentary on family annihilation, watched it, didn't even wait for justice. I just turned it off and went, that's a shame. Carried on with my day. That is horrible. Horrible. That is disrespectful and weird, quite frankly. It's weird and creepy, the way we engage with it. And family annihilation, probably one of the worst crimes. You know, usually, family annihilation is usually a man who's, well, I'll just leave it there, who's, who has sometimes met a woman and he'd rather be with that woman than have the responsibility of a wife and family. So what he does is he goes, oh, I'll kill all them. And then people will be dead happy that I've moved on. Right, that's what... So it doesn't... Of course, it doesn't work like that. But I often think about the woman on the other side of it, the woman that, you know, he wanted to be with. How does she carry on with her life? You know, what does she think? She gets in a new relationship, you know, the man buys her flowers. She's thinking, call that a gesture. It's a weird one, that, isn't it? If you laughed, it says a lot about you. My favourite sort of genre at the moment is romance fraud. Love Rats. Do you like a bit? Have you watched Love Rats? Oh, it's good, isn't it? Oh, I love it. Romance fraud. Do you remember the Tinder swindler? That one. Didn't like that. Didn't like the women on it. Liars. Liars, the lot of them. Because you be honest with me. You tell me you were interested in him for his money and I'm on your side. I'm on your side, right? If that's what you wanted him for, be honest. Don't look in the camera and lie to me saying you were into all 4'10" of him. And look, I'm sorry, I'm a 4'10" woman, right? And I ain't going out with a small man. Why should I? Why should I? Why should I have a life where neither of us can reach? Do you know, it really upsets little men, that joke. All right, keep your Cuban heels on. Now, there is, like, you watch these documentaries, and of course romance fraud's horrible, and usually it's a woman that's met somebody and they con them out of all of her money. It's really sad and it's really awful. You know, of course I feel sorry for the people involved. But then I watch the documentaries, you know, and a woman will say, oh, when I met him, he told me he was a pilot. And he was in the FBI. And he was heir to a multi-million-pound fortune. And where did you meet him? In a pub in Barnsley. And then he kept asking for money. £5 here, £10 there, 10 grand there, you know. And I'm salt of the earth, me, so I just gave him, you know. And it turns out he wasn't a pilot, he wasn't in the FBI. I don't even think he was from Barnsley. If it could happen to me, it could happen to you. No, it couldn't. You're stupid. You're thick. You're gullible and you're stupid. That is not going to happen to me. I don't believe a man when he says anything. I'm not going to believe he's a pilot and he's in the FBI without evidence, right? Honest to God, I don't believe my boyfriend when he says, yes, I remember that friend of yours, and yes, I'll take the bins out in the morning. crime, we're saturated by it. Saturated with true crime. That's the only thing that's on TV. In fact, there are only two things on TV. True crime documentaries and documentaries about Adolf Hitler. Oh my God. Cancel culture does not exist for Adolf Hitler. He's never off the bloody telly, is he? You know, all these put this to the test, right? You can go home tonight, set your alarm for 3 a.m, flick through the channels, you'll find a documentary. 8 a.m, you'll find a documentary about him. I swear to God, there is the rise of Hitler, the fall of Hitler, Hitler a career, Hitler's circle of evil, which just makes you think about his bumhole, doesn't it? You know. I watched a documentary, right? And it was about Hitler's childhood, right? I think it was called Hitler's First Pube. And in this documentary, I didn't know this at the time, and you might not know this, or you might, I don't know, right? Adolf Hitler had a sister called Paula. Paula Hitler. Paula Hitler does not sound like the sibling of an evil dictator, does it? Paula Hitler sounds like a woman called Paula that you work with that you don't like. Guess who was late back off for lunch again today? Paula. Which Paula? Menopause Paula. No, Paula Hitler. Oh. Guess who phoned in sick on Friday? Paula Hitler. Oh, wait, here she... Hiya, Paula, you all right, love? Good to see you back. Yeah, go on, pop the kettle on, we'll have a catch-up. Yeah. Yeah, go on, you fucking bitch. The point is... This documentary, right, about Hitler's childhood, I was sort of watching and half... You know when you're half watching something, you don't pay attention, and then they have scenes where they have actors reenacting things. Now, Hitler, as a kid, was bullied. Who'd have thought? But this was another bit that I didn't know. So it showed this little bit of, you know, a reenactment of a kid, I assume being Hitler, because he had a little moustache. And cut that bit out, no one ever laughs. Right? And he was being bullied. And the reason Adolf Hitler was bullied was because he used to have a bladder problem that caused him to wee himself. Adolf Pissler, I imagine. Now, I was sort of half watching this, but what I'm watching, really, is sort of a reenactment of a kid being bullied, so I just went, oh. What am I doing, feeling sorry for Hitler as a kid? What is wrong with me? Am I cancelling myself in my own living room? This is awful, right? So I don't watch anything like that. I still watch true crime, but I do not watch documentaries about Adolf Hitler, because you can't take the risk. If I felt sorry for him on that, what else am I going to open myself up to? You know, evil dictators, no thank you. What if I find out that, you know, I don't know, Pol Pot had shit trainers? You know... Mussolini used to pick his nose and eat it. You know, fucking Vladimir Putin once called his teacher mum. Where are we then? Feeling sorry for him. That's where we are. And the thing is as well, I hate bullying. I hate it, right? And I actually think back, because I was so shy, how I was never bullied, I don't know. I don't think bullies would have known what to do with me, because I was so quiet. I think they must have been like, what is it? Is it deep? No, honestly, don't touch it. I think it's haunted. I don't know. I feel sorry for anyone who is young now. Like, I feel so sorry for people, because people's manners are awful. Does anyone think people are awful? No, I think people are horrible, people are rude, people are cruel. You know, look, I don't think I'm better than anyone else, by the way. I don't think I'm, you know, a beacon of what people should be. I am not a good person. Look, I've done anal with an Australian. Which, to be fair, was a misunderstanding. When he said, do you fancy the bush or the outback, I thought he meant a day trip. Now... I don't think I'm better. I just think younger people, anyone younger than me has got bad manners. They have. And when I say younger people younger than me, I mean my boyfriend is 5 years younger than me. And you wouldn't know he was 5 years younger, by the way, because he looks terrible for his age. Oh, he's ever so craggy. You don't know whether to fuck him or climb him. And yes, he is in the audience. He does know this is a joke. And he is around this area, which is why I can't look over there, OK? It's a blind spot. Go and sit near the back. What are you fucking doing there? Shut up. Now... But the thing is, he's the best looking bloke I've been out with. Don't look at him now. It's not about him. It's about me, all right? Do you know what? He'll walk out of here. He's a man. Everything's about him. Let this be about me. He's the best looking bloke I've been out with, because I've been out with some great personalities. And Honestly, I used to go out with one bloke, and I used to think, if you ever went to one of those caricature artists on holiday, you'd just come away with a lovely portrait. But there is being a bit younger, I do notice things, right? I do notice things. He's always asking me questions, what was it like when there was just 4 TV channels? What was it like when you saw Oasis live the first time round? Will you tell me some of the things that you used to ask Jeeves? And he's always on his phone. I just think people, just that little bit of age difference, always on his phone. It's so fucking annoying. A world of information in his hand, learning nothing, right? And it's a madness. We are making ourselves ill. I am guilty of it as well. I wake up in the morning. I wake up at 7 a.m. I don't know what you pigs do, right? Wake up at 7 a.m. What's the first thing you do? You pick your phone up. You're scrolling through. You're looking at people that you've not seen for years. You're looking at rubbish. You're looking at and it's so harmful. I mean, if that was real life, if that phone was real life, and someone you worked with a decade ago booted in your front door at 7 a.m, ran up the stairs, got in bed with you, and went, "Do you want to see me holiday photos?" You'd be like, "No, Paula Hitler, I don't." I know 5 years isn't a big age gap, and I'm just being a bit silly, being a bit daft. But I think it's quite rare for a woman to be older than a man in some capacity. When a woman's older than a man, they drag them on this morning to investigate, don't they? I was trying to think about age gaps, and it's the only big age gap between a man and a woman where the woman's older is Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron. Looks a bit like Ted Bundy. He does, have a look. And do you know he was 16 when he met her and she was 40? She was his teacher. Creepy. Creepy, but so French. Imagine, she'd be like, "No, Emmanuel, no. Oh, Emmanuel, I have meats and cheeses and wines older than you. No, oh, okay, vive la France." That's the only one I can really think of, there are others, of course. But men, they're all at it. Leonardo DiCaprio with those little girls that he goes out with. Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones. I love the Rolling Stones. Ronnie Wood is in his 70s. His wife is in her 30s. Oh, I can't even eat raisins because of the texture. Honestly, this is true. The first time I ever saw Ronnie Wood with his now wife, I was on my phone, as usual, scrolling through, and I genuinely thought that clicked on National Geographic, right? And I honestly thought that it was that, is it Mananan Festival in Indonesia, where twice every decade they bring out the dead relatives? And give him a dust. I thought, that looks interesting. Oh, it's Ronnie Wood on a gondola. And listen, I don't want to be ageist. I hate ageism. I hate it. It's a scourge on society. I think ageism is one of the sort of unspoken things that we need to be more aware of, right? But then I look at these age gap relationships, and I just think, men, you've got it a bit easier in that respect. Of course you have. You're allowed to get older. You're allowed to get old. A man goes grey. Oh, he's a silver fox. He gets a bit fat. Oh, he's got a dad bod. Right? A woman has a wrinkle. Get back in the house, you horrible witch. Oh, you're making everyone uncomfortable. Ugh. God, she's 35. Ugh. And women, we don't help ourselves because women sometimes we're like, "Oh my God, I'm so old. I'm so old." You're 31. You're not old. You've got another 50 years of this shit left. At 31, you're not old. The only time you're old at 31 is if you're a medieval French agricultural worker. There you go. That's when you're old, right? But this is it. I think subconsciously, men, you're allowed to get older because you're fertile for the entirety of your existence, right? You can reproduce the entirety of your lives. Women, we get told by nature that we're no longer fertile. We get we're hot flushes, the memory problems, the wild swimming. But men, You can just carry on. Right? Al Pacino's in his 80s. He's one of the world's oldest known fathers. Come on, Al. Come on. Come on, a tits. Horrible. Horrible. I just think men, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can have kids doesn't mean you should. You should think a bit more about that. I think we should have a new ritual, actually. Bring something new out for older men. What we should do is when a man starts showing an interest in air fryers, and women that weren't born when he passed his driving test, what we should do is we should have like a little ritual in the village square, Sort of everyone comes to dance around a maypole, that kind of thing, And then what we do is we just attach their dick to a tap. And we just turn off the cum. That's what we do. Literally a stopcock. I don't know, get Gary Lineker down to do it or something, Make it fun for them as well. I don't want children either. I do like children. I've got 2 nieces and a nephew who I love. They're brilliant. Well, one of them needs work, but it's not my problem. But I like children, because that's another thing. When you say, as a woman, I don't want children, people mishear. They go, oh, is it your innards? No, I just don't want them. Oh, you horrible witch. You evil, cold woman. Right? I just don't want... The reason I don't want them is I don't want it to change. I don't want my life to change. Don't want it to change. Quite happy as I am. Like children, just don't want any of my own, I don't want to carry a bag of snacks that isn't for me. I don't want to spend all my time worried that someone's going to be abducted. I don't want Paw Patrol stickers on my nice furniture. Just putting stickers on things, aren't they? Horrible, right? Now, the thing is, I don't want to... And all of my friends now, well, most of my friends are now parents. They're having children. And I can't relate to some of the more middle-class female friends I've got, because they sort of change when they have a kid. It's like they're the only person that's ever done it. The only mother on earth. That's who they are. And they talk to you, in a weird way. Like one of my friends, she's always like, oh my God, I love my body now. I love my body. I've made peace with my body. I love my body. It's given life. My body has given... And I'm sitting there thinking, what's my body ever done? Bent over due to a misunderstanding with an Antipodean. But then and it brings out the worst in me, because I hate people being smug. She's like, oh my God, I love my body. I'm like, oh, do you know what? If you love your body so much, go and look at yourself from the side in the mirror. And if you come back not crying, I'll high-five you. Go on. Because I don't care who you are, right? Elon Musk might be a billionaire, but I reckon he looks at himself from the side in the mirror and feels really fucking sad. I just don't want... If my friends as well, they're getting dogs as well. Rescue dogs. Everything's got to be vintage, But no, everyone gets these dogs. Nobody gets the dogs I had growing up. The working class dogs. The dogs that look like your dad's mates. Those dogs that look like should be leaning out of a window of a white van shouting, nice tits. Nobody gets those dogs anymore. Nobody. One of my friends, she's a bit of a do-gooder. She's adopting a dog rescued from the meat trade in China, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I think the meat trade in China is cruel, right? I do. Of course I do. But isn't it very pompous to be like that? I'm just popping over to China to let them know I don't like what they're doing with their dogs. Hello, yes, I'll take that off you until you learn some manners. Thank you very much. I'm back in the UK. Yes, darling, I'll have the veal and the foie gras. Thank you very much. Gives you information about these dogs, though, right? I don't know how they get the information from the dog. It must have a Chinese interpreter. You know what? Never usually gets a laugh, that. That's why you're good people, right? But this little dog is called Cupcake, right? It's just been rescued from the meat trade. Don't make it sound delicious. Right? He said Cupcake would rather live in a house than a flat and have access to a garden. Wouldn't we all, Cupcake? Do you know, I think, I love dogs, I do, but I think we take them in too many places now. We take them in too many places. I feel for the dogs that were traditionally allowed in everywhere. The service dogs, the guide dogs, the hearing dogs, the seizure detection dogs, those noble beasts that are helping a human. There's something very moving about that, right? I don't like those dogs that can sniff cancer. No. They bring the mood down. And listen, up until a few years ago, I thought it was all dogs that could sniff cancer. I was going around thinking I had cancer of the clitoris for years. I'll be glad to see the end of that joke. We're never doing that one again. kids though, right? We take dogs in places. I'm not equating children to dogs here at all. Please don't get me wrong. With children, we take children in too many places. Now, children love children. They're part of society, you know? They're part of society. But the problem is some parents don't want their lives to change, so they take them everywhere. Now, children belong in museums, art galleries, cultural institutions, restaurants till 4 p.m. They don't belong in the pub. Does anyone agree with me? Yeah. I mean, I'm in the wrong place for saying this. Right? Don't belong in the pub. Now, what I find weird as well, some pubs are setting themselves up to be kid-friendly. Have a kids' menu? Sure, why not? A mocktail menu for children. Some places have a mocktail menu for that is not normal. What next? Fisher-Price my first dildo? Don't normalise adult things for children. It is not normal. The reason I hate kids in pubs is because when I was a kid, I used to go to the pub with my dad, and I hated it. I'll tell you why. It's because it felt like it was illegal, but it wasn't, which I think was Philip Schofield's defence. Can you imagine if Hugh Edwards has just rang Philip Schofield and he's gone, "Oh, do you know what, Phil? I'm sick of hiding. Let's go to Blackpool." "Oh, what's this? Showgirl?" "Well, I don't think we'll be mentioned in that. Let's go. Do you know what? I think we should support women a bit more. Come on, let's go and watch." All right, you pair of nonces, right? And she's like, "I think you'll find it's Phil who's the nonce. I'm a registered sex offender." It was worth it in the long run. Anyway, it felt like it was illegal, but it wasn't, and that's why I hated going to the pub with my dad. And the thing is as well, it's not a nice environment for kids. It's more for the adult than it is for the children, right? This is people not thinking what their kids really want to do, right? Now, I feel as well in life that, especially as a woman, in going out and about in the world, frequently on my own, travelling around, I often feel like the Pied Piper of cunts. You know, I feel like I've left my house. I've got my flute. I'm playing Sweet Caroline. And they're all coming out of the shops, offices and axe throwing venues to see what I'm up to. There is no peace for a woman on her own. You know, if you're a woman on your own, you'll be sitting somewhere, a woman will see you and she'll think, "Oh, well, I'm sitting near her, she won't kill me." You know, a man sees you, thinks, "Oh, I'll sit near her, I could kill her." You know, there is no peace. There is no thing. And this is it, when I used to be so quiet, I never used to say anything to anybody. You know, and the thing is, if you do want a peaceful life, you have to start speaking up. So I do speak up now. Because what happens invariably is I like to go to the pub. You know, I like to sit in a pub. I like to do my writing. I like to be in an adult environment. And invariably what will happen is a family will come in and they will have children with them. And they will see me as no threat. And they will come and sit near me, right? And I'm sick of it, right? Go and sit anywhere else. And I live in quite a middle-class area, right? So what happens is the family will come in, the dad will be there, he's got his flat cap on, you know, appropriating northern working-class culture, never done a day's work in his life. You know, his wife comes in, she makes soap or whatever it is these women do, right? And they're sitting in it. And now, because I used to be so shy for years and never used to say anything, because I'm more confident than I used to be, I say something. And I just say, "Excuse me, I find your presence quite triggering." Now, triggering is a great word to use when you want your own way, right? Bear that in mind, right? And the dad will often be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, no problem. I totally understand. You know, it took us a while to conceive ours." I'm like, "Oh, mate, it's not me, innards. I'm actually just a massive nonce. Not even registered, actually. Not been found out yet. Not even registered. Oh, yeah, no worries, we'll move." But hey, you know, I think it's actually incredible to see a woman go into a male-dominated environment. I wish you well. The whole point of the show, has there been one? I don't know. The point is, how did you get into comedy? That is a question that I was going to answer. I don't really know. The fact is, I was so shy. I think this is probably this is the most extreme version of getting over it, right? I think this is what it is. But also, don't forget that the government actually funded something artistic for working class people. And without that, there's no way that I would have the career that I've got. I would never have had the confidence to go on and become a stand-up comedian. So maybe, you know, Put your hand in your fucking pocket, Keir Starmer, and, give us something nice to do. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it so much. It's been excellent. It's the best way to send off this show, and you've all been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to 800 Pound Gorilla's Album of the Week podcast. Tune in every Thursday wherever you listen to podcasts and find us on your favorite social platforms.